It's believed by many that the US military and Navy see things that it keeps secret, such as UFO sightings. While secrecy is to be expected by the government, occasionally US officials will let citizens in on certain events and situations. That was the case when the Pentagon confirmed that a video of a suspected UFO taken by the US Navy was indeed real. YouTuber Jeremy Corbell shared the video for all to witness for themselves. Viewers can see footage of the San Diego sky, as shot in 2019. In the middle of the sky is what looks to be a kind of pyramid-shaped aircraft hovering in the air. The aircraft seems to blink its lights on and off as it floats around the sky before coming to a stop. Just with nearly all other UFO videos on the internet, the clip has caused quite the debate among viewers. Some were sure that UFOs had finally arrived on Earth and humans' doom was impending. Others believe the Pentagon is simply lying and may be pushing this video to distract from other, more pressing matters. For instance, there could be an even greater threat on the horizon that we can't even imagine. Perhaps only time will tell what's happening here and what its consequences will be.
Wow, that's 25.
Welcome and all American Cartel members, Anons, Facebook friends, Twitter followers, and random YouTube viewer. Thanks for joining me. My name is Julio Jaques and I am the Theorizing Theorist. And today we're going to be going over Secure Team's blatant disrespect of Jeremy Corbell, and I freaking absolutely love it. If you didn't know, I put out a video a while ago about how this whole UFO alien thingy-mabobber is very unimpressive to me. I need to see, what's the word I'm looking for? Physics bending movements. I need to see just really stuff that isn't possible. Not in our realm, not with our understanding, let's just say. And the videos that the Pentagon has been supposedly releasing has been very lackluster, to say the least. Very lackluster, to say the least. I need to see, like I said, you remember that Israel video where they have that beam of light goes down and it shoots up back into the atmosphere real, insanely fast, like speed of light fast? That's what I need to see. Not one of our cameras recording one of these little black dots going semi-fast over our surface. Now, the dipping in and out of water is very interesting to me. I can't explain that, and Secure Team does a good job trying to go after the big dogs these days, and he recommends a video called Thunderfoot. Now, I recommend it as well. He's going to give a full description of the channel, so I'm going to let him take it over. I've included the two videos at the very end of Thunderfoot back to back, so you can see what Secure Team is talking about. And at the very beginning, you saw one of Jeremy Corbell's videos. And Secure Team's going to give you a little bit more in-depth into Jeremy Corbell. So with that said, that's all I really have for you. I'm going to let them take over. But before I do that, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share this video on social media. And make sure the bell is rung on all notifications. Also, be sure to comment down below. And if you would like to donate to my channel for all my efforts, please go down to the description box below. There's a PayPal, CASHAPP, and a VENMO down there. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'm gonna bow out here and let the video take its course from here on out, and I'm gonna leave you with my typical, and as always, you guys know the routine. To God be the glory.
Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. So last night I posted a tweet about this video that you're about to watch, and I said in that tweet that I was going to make a video about all of these recent pieces of UFO footage that came from the fighter jets that were allegedly leaked from the Pentagon, or at least confirmed by the Pentagon, showing a variety of craft of some sort caught on infrared footage via the gimbal cameras on these fighter jets, with objects seemingly performing physics-defying movements, and that would seem to have no heat reading or reading of a propulsion system or anything like that. And as you've probably seen via all of the interviews on Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, the main figure that has been pushing for the Pentagon to release more information about their secret UFO study program has been a man by the name of Jeremy Corbell. Most of you know who he is. I've met him in person, spoke with him, interviewed him, flew out to Los Angeles to see his Bob Lazar film premiere, and, he struck me as a nice guy who's deeply inquisitive when it comes to the UFO phenomenon. However, when it comes to these alleged leaks that the Pentagon has confirmed, now, first of all, I want to clarify something. The Pentagon did not release these UFO videos. The Pentagon never wanted any UFO footage to be leaked. It was the pilots themselves. It was an internal leak of some of this footage that the Pentagon was completely against. Now, at the time, we had the Senator Harry Reid, and he, God love him, had an interest in the UFO phenomenon. So he put the Pentagon's feet to the fire and said, look, I want to know more. And there was a massive pushback from the Pentagon. And so when you see these videos in various interviews, and you hear the words that the Pentagon has confirmed these UFO videos as being legit, they are not confirming what's in the video. They are simply confirming that yes, indeed, these are official videos taken from our jets and our pilots. They're not saying that what's in the video is real or not. And I've got to say, guys, and I've said this before, I've always had some suspicions about this newly leaked footage. For instance, the footage of the night sky, which is in green, where it appears that there are 3 flying, glowing green triangles moving through the sky, supposedly swarming one of these aircraft carriers. But I immediately noticed that there are FAA blinking lights coming from this triangular object in the sky, which appears to me to just be an out-of-focus airplane. And then we have other pieces of footage, like this, where some are saying that this object that was caught is not actually doing a rapid turn in direction, but is simply some sort of flare coming from the gimbal camera on the fighter jet turning itself. And I can't make heads or tails of that. And of course, we have the newest UFO footage leaked from yet another pilot showing what we reported on earlier in the week to be some sort of spherical object that appears to be floating along above the ocean before going down into the ocean. And so I was planning on making a video about this and giving my opinion when another YouTube channel, and I'm giving them full credit for this, created a video that will explain it way better than I can, and the channel's name is Thunderfoot. Some of you may know him, some of you may not, but I'll post his video link down below. But he basically breaks down these pieces of UFO footage that have been leaked and obsessively reported to be legitimate alien craft of some sort by the likes of Jeremy Corbell, Luis Elizondo, and others. And just to give you a little clip from Thunderfoot's video, he tackles some of the mysteries of these UFO clips, and when you watch the entire video, it becomes apparent that all of these Pentagon UFO clips that have been released throughout the past couple of years may all have very simple explanations. So here's a clip from Thunderfoot's new video where he believes he has debunked many of these newly released Pentagon videos, and that they are mere natural objects such as birds or other airplanes, and that when you use these cameras and switch them over to heat seeking, where you're just getting a heat signature, we see something very different. So check out this short clip.
We have tackled many strange stories on 60 Minutes, but perhaps none like this. It's the story of the U.S. government's grudging acknowledgement of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, more commonly known as UFOs.
Finally, the government has acknowledged the existence of UFOs, which coincided with the release of this footage of a UFO, which I think you'll agree blows away completely all the previously declassified and leaked UFO footage. It clearly depicts a craft with no control surfaces, which is hovering and slowly descending. There are no signs of propulsion on this craft, yet it defies gravity whilst emitting this strange aura, which has been widely speculated by experts to be some sort of anti-gravity drive. It was capable of hypersonic speeds observed by hundreds of witnesses, none of whom could explain what they saw because it was jamming their radar. This is it, people. These things are real. The evidence is overwhelming. Okay, I've got to admit, I was being a little tongue-in-cheek there. This is actually from some guy on YouTube who, I've got to say, has some pretty awesome infrared video of military planes. This one is an F-18 in the infrared. The point should be made pretty clearly at this point. Things in the infrared don't necessarily look like they do in visible light. And yeah, links below to this guy, because he really does have some very impressive footage there. But yeah, this video of an F-18 coming into land absolutely blows out of the water the leaked videos of UFOs in just how much anti-gravity it emits whilst it's hovering there.
Okay, so as you just saw, it took Thunderfoot 5 minutes to visit another YouTube channel that posts many videos of objects like planes and birds and jets that have been captured in infrared or heat signature technology, and how when you take a simple jet plane landing and switch the camera over to heat seeking or infrared, it turns into what looks like a hovering flying saucer with no propulsion and some sort of weird gravitational plasma field circling around it. And again, you guys are free to go over and watch his entire video and come back here and put down in the comments what you think. But I absolutely do think that at least some of these new Pentagon clips are simple airplanes out of focus, and that when you switch things from color view to the infrared and other things like that, you get a very different view of the object that looks nothing like it, and that can be easily mistaken for a legitimate UFO. And that's very worrisome that someone like Thunderfoot was able to compile such a cool video by doing the littlest bit of information and finding this other UFO channel that shows what planes look like to a regular camera view versus the infrared or heat signature view, which leads to the issue that if Jeremy Corbell, again, nice guy, no issues with the man, if he, who himself claims to be an investigative filmmaker, missed such an easy way to research these Pentagon videos and compare them to other things like planes and birds, which they're looking very much like that's the case, well then that is going to hurt the UFO community. It's going to hurt ufology even more, because we're now finally on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, and people are finally starting to look at the UFO phenomenon, and the clips that are being used are simple misinterpretations of natural things, whether it be a plane flying in the sky or the sun setting down over the ocean's horizon, making it look like a UFO is diving down into the ocean deep. And so, Jeremy, if you're watching this, man, no hate whatsoever, nothing but love. But as a UFO reporter myself, and again, I don't pretend to be the king of all UFO knowledge. I never have. I report on what's happening. I try to make it in a simple way for people to understand, but I also call out things when I think they're not genuine. So I wonder if Jeremy is willing to do that as well and take a look at Thunderfoot's video and analysis of all of these different pieces of footage. Now, having said that, even if these leaked Pentagon videos are nothing but natural aircraft that are simply giving off strange shapes in the infrared and heat signature wise, will these guys like Jeremy come out and correct themselves? And again, that's not to say that the UFO phenomenon does not exist. It's very real. We have thousands of pieces of footage right here on this channel that cannot be explained and have never been debunked. So don't let this persuade you that this is all total hogwash. But I felt compelled as a reporter to let you guys know and to let you guys check out the analysis of Thunderfoot's video and make your own conclusion, rather than just me simply continuing to hype up the Pentagon footage in order to get clicks and views, when I've personally felt from the get-go that some of this footage was simple natural phenomena. So there it is, guys. Go ahead and check out Thunderfoot's video. And Thunderfoot, he's a smart guy. His main expertise is not even with the UFO community or anything like that, but he's just a smart guy and good at taking apart things and analyzing them. So check out his video. It's very eye-opening. And as far as this briefing coming up in June, where the Pentagon is supposed to release a detailed file on what they know about this phenomenon, we're going to see what happens. But believe you me, this phenomenon is very, very real. And so, again, guys, I said you may not like the truth, but sometimes the truth just has to come out. And if there is footage being blasted all over the major news networks that turns out to be simple things like airplanes or suns setting over the ocean's horizon line, it's going to be a pie in the face for ufology. So, again, guys, thank you for stopping by. I'm just the messenger. Check out Thunderfoot's video down below. Give me your thoughts, and let's continue this wonderful journey down the rabbit hole together. So stay tuned, guys, and as always, stay safe.
We have tackled many strange stories on 60 Minutes, but perhaps none like this. It's the story of the U.S. government's grudging acknowledgement of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, more commonly known as UFOs.
Finally, the government has acknowledged the existence of UFOs, which coincided with the release of this footage of a UFO, which I think you'll agree blows away completely all the previously declassified and leaked UFO footage. It clearly depicts a craft with no control surfaces, which is hovering and slowly descending. There are no signs of propulsion on this craft, yet it defies gravity whilst emitting this strange aura, which has been widely speculated by experts to be some sort of anti-gravity drive. It was capable of hypersonic speeds observed by hundreds of witnesses, none of whom could explain what they saw because it was jamming their radar. This is it, people. These things are real. The evidence is overwhelming.
And we now have a threat, an unknown threat that we need to figure out.
So, Sean, it's not that you're worried about something out of a movie coming to get you. It's about the threat right here on Earth and how it's being motivated without our knowledge and ability to counter.
The US has already spent over $20 million examining these craft, which display motions that defy our understanding of reality. It's already being taken to Congress and not only covered by 60 Minutes in this viral video with millions of hits, but also covered by the BBC, CNN, and Fox News.
Next month, Congress is set to be briefed on UFOs when a long-awaited Pentagon report is released.
UFOs, it turns out, are real, and whatever else they are a prima facie challenge to the U.S. military.
Stand by for action. I am calling battle station. Anything can happen in the next half hour.
Decades of public denial, the U.S. government is now acknowledging the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP. What we often call UFOs. The U.S. Senate has ordered now the Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense to deliver a report on the topic.
Those
sightings. The Pentagon admits what's depicted in the videos captured by U.S. military is something they can't explain. In 2015, the U.S. Navy captured this video on a targeting camera of a UAP off the coast of Jacksonville.
Okay, I've got to admit, I was being a little tongue-in-cheek there. This is actually from some guy on YouTube who, I've got to say, has some pretty awesome infrared video of military planes. This one is an F-18 in the infrared. The point should be made pretty clearly at this point. Things in the infrared don't necessarily look like they do in visible light. And yeah, links below to this guy, because he really does have some very impressive footage there. But yeah, this video of an F-18 coming into land absolutely blows out of the water the leaked videos of UFOs in just how much anti-gravity it emits whilst it's hovering there. Now, it's the most common appeal to authority on this subject is these guys are fighter pilots for the US military, trained professionals with hundreds of hours of experience, and you're just some guy on YouTube. Well, yeah. But just because they're fighter pilots or worked in the Pentagon or something, that doesn't mean that they can't be UFO nuts as well. Further, I do something that none of these fighter pilots do. I do the numerical analysis of the actual data. Meanwhile, let's take a look at one of these amazing fighter pilots' analysis of some infrared footage. Bear in mind that this is a pilot who claims to have seen hundreds of UFOs whilst not managing to take a picture of any of them.
He told us his F-18 squadron began seeing UAPs hovering over restricted airspace southeast of Virginia Beach in 2014.
Oh, sorry. They managed to get these amazing pictures of them with the world's most sophisticated aircraft in the world's top military.
Every day for at least a couple of years.
Wait a minute, every day for a couple of years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and his sophisticated analysis of the infrared footage.
You know, I don't see an exhaust plume.
Including this one.
And tell me again, where exactly is the exhaust plume on this UFO? Oh, that's right, there isn't one, which means it's got no signs of propulsion. Right? And then, of course, there's this ex-Pentagon official who doesn't seem to realize that what things look like in the infrared is not what they look like in reality.
Our meeting with Hollywood visual effects supervisor Sam Edwards.
There's no such thing as a light source that follows around behind an aircraft.
So the system is in black hot mode. What that tells me, if black is hot, there's a cold region. You typically are going to be, warm coming out of the exhaust or near your engine or whatever.
Doesn't that argue that it's not a conventional propulsion system?
Wow, black hot with a white aura means that it's not a conventional propulsion system. So it couldn't possibly be, say, an edge enhancement image processing on the camera or something.
Doesn't that argue that it's not a conventional propulsion system?
Well, yeah, okay, these are the nutty fringe. I mean, what would be real Twilight Zone stuff is if we had the mainstream media, like, say, for instance, Fox News or something, covering an out-of-focus plane as evidence that the US military is utterly outclassed, and arguing that the US military, that has already spent some $20 million investigating this, should go into full panic mode about this. Actually, now I think about it, there is this classic episode of The Twilight Zone about an alien invasion called The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. Lights go on and off, unexplained phenomena, and people turn into panicky idiots and destroy themselves.
Throw them into darkness for a few hours and then sit back and watch the pattern. Their world is full of maple streets, and we'll go from one to the other and let them destroy themselves.
Yep, the aliens' invasion plan is...
People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
The episode was later remade with a more modern twist to it.
So, in the event of a perceived terrorist attack, isolated communities will sustain themselves for 5 hours. I'll tell you one thing, if the other civilian security tests one like this, we're all in trouble.
The moral of the story is clear. people are insatiable monsters given a seemingly harmless unknown. Nah, it has to be enemy action, an attack of some sort, and we have to take action against it.
It isn't enough for a sole voice of reason to exist. In this time of uncertainty, we're so sure that villains lurk around every corner that we will create them ourselves if we can't find them.
Yeah, I know, it's the Twilight Zone. It's an imaginary spoof of mankind. There's no way it could happen in reality.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. The United States remains the most powerful country in the world. That relatively few Americans have considered what would happen if we slipped from that perch. Would it matter if America became subordinate to other nations?
I told you it was going to be the Twilight Zone. You know, yeah, sure. Just because America is bigger than France, that means that France is subordinate to America. Good luck with that.
The top countries give the orders, the rest of the planet takes the orders whether they like it or not.
Yes, this is the might makes right universe where whatever America says, everyone else has to do because America is bigger, which is why Iran always immediately does whatever America tells it to do.
The conflicts the Pentagon says it's preparing for often seem comically small and outdated, almost from colonial times, whether it's wrangling with illiterate tribesmen in Afghanistan. That's very important.
So true. If only there was a Men in Black clip that could remind us why America was in Afghanistan in the first place.
Wrangling with illiterate tribesmen in Afghanistan. That's very important. Your job is to defend it. Please do so. Yet it's becoming clear they have no interest in defending it. And here's the latest evidence of that. It comes from CBS last night. This is a clip from a 60 Minutes report on, of all things, UFOs and the U.S. military. Watch this.
A Navy aircrew struggles to lock on to a fast-moving object off the U.S. Atlantic coast in 2015.
Wow, CBS really did their due diligence there. I mean, your suspicion should have been first clued in when, yeah, you can just about make out it flapping its wings. You know, boom, 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 boom. You know, all you really had to do was understand what the numbers on the display meant, and you could work it all out. With maybe the most simplest being the range to the object coming up as about 4 miles, which means seeing as you know the field of view of the camera, you can work out that the object is about 1 meter long, about the size of a decent bird. And it's whizzing along because the plane is at about 20,000 feet, the bird at about 10,000 feet, and the plane is going past it at about the speed of sound.
These aircraft carriers that many of these UFOs have been interacting with, obviously these are billion-dollar assets. And if the official position of the most powerful navy in the world is, frankly, little more than, we don't know what this is, I don't think that's good enough.
But these must just be weather balloons, right?
Well, the weather balloons that are expressing technologies that are far beyond our current understanding of aerodynamics, things that are maneuvering in ways that no aircraft that we are currently aware of has that capability to.
I think it's terrifying. I mean, this seems potentially like one of the biggest stories of my lifetime. And I don't care if it's about UFOs or whatever you call it. Something that we don't understand is getting very close to our military aircraft, and the government isn't responding adequately. And I hope you keep sounding the alarm on this.
We have tackled many strange stories on 60 Minutes, but perhaps none like this.
Oh yeah, that was really powerful reporting from CBS there. If only they'd gone through the numbers, they could have worked out that it's about the size of a duck, flapping its wings like a duck and traveling at about the speed of a duck. I wonder whether it was aliens.
Recently released images may not convince UFO skeptics, but the Pentagon admits it doesn't know what in the world this is.
Yeah, CBS hits it out the park again with an out-of-focus plane. The flashing navigation lights are a bit of a giveaway. I wonder whether it was aliens who decided to add FAA-compliant navigation lights to their super advanced gravity-driven spacecraft. An alien spacecraft, which I should stress, has appeared to people all over the world. This is the most amazing evidence ever. But only in front of people who can't actually focus their camera.
You don't like your fleet of triangular-shaped UFOs because it's not illegal. You can actually just focus the camera you know, down to points. And then, of course, it's not quite so cryptic anymore.
Oh, UFOs, they're spooky and kind of funny. Crazy people believe in them. Up until you get to the line, the Pentagon admits it doesn't know what in the world this is.
The Pentagon admits it doesn't know what in the world this is.
And that's where you pause, because from a national security perspective, that is a very big problem.
You're right, Tucker. That is a serious problem. Yes, we definitely need to help these high-level Pentagon officials to hone their avian identification skills. Thankfully, an advanced educational series already exists that will aid the top minds in US intelligence to improve their skills to truly world-class levels.
Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun.
How big a problem is it? One Navy pilot said that the U.S. military has observed unidentified flying objects maneuvering in restricted airspace off the coast of Virginia, quote, every day for 2 years.
Yeah, and for every day for 2 years. He forgot to take his camera to take a picture of them. Odd that.
Every day for years. Now, flying in restricted airspace is not a small thing. Yet the Pentagon, after every day for 2 years of daily incursions, didn't appear to do anything about it. Why didn't they?
Oh, I don't know, Tucker. Maybe for the same reason they didn't do anything about Elvis sightings. All of those multiple Elvis sightings.
We're the Flying Elvis Utah chapter.
Must prove that Elvis has discovered some sort of dark lich technology that will allow him to reincarnate himself multiple times. Multiform resurrection seems like the sort of thing that the US military should take seriously. I mean, if he's mastered coming back from the dead, who knows what other powers he might have.
Something lethal.
Why is no one in the military taking this seriously? I mean, surely they should be spending millions of dollars on such a serious threat, right?
We're just guessing. One possible explanation, they couldn't. Our military was completely outmatched technologically by whatever these were.
Let me get this straight. The stunning evidence of a bird filmed in the infrared and an out-of-focus commercial plane, and literally thousands of sightings that didn't yield a single piece of evidence, is now apparently evidence that the US military is being massively outperformed by infrared bird and out-of-focus plane. At this point, my money's on the skydiving Elvises.
Look, Bill, I'm not telling you that it doesn't sound wacky. What I'm telling you, it's real. Imagine a technology that can do 600 to 700 G-forces, that can fly at 13,000 miles an hour, that it can evade radar, and that can fly through air and water and possibly space, and, oh, by the way, has no obvious signs of propulsion, no wings, no control surfaces, and yet still can defy the natural effects of Earth's gravity. That's precisely what we're seeing.
Yeah, those aren't the properties of our real world. Those are the properties of magic. You know, even if it is extraterrestrials, they still are made up of the stuff of the universe, you know, atoms and molecules, and obey the basic rules of that universe, like thermodynamics. Except what you're proposing doesn't obey the laws of thermodynamics. And if there's one thing that's never been observed ever, it's a violation of the laws of thermodynamics. I mean, it's just like saying it's a magic word, and all of a sudden, rather than there being one of you, there are 10 of you. It's magic. It's just magic. So what Tucker, CNN, and the BBC are essentially advocating for here is that the US government, having thus far blown some $20 million on military intelligence that couldn't identify a bird in the infrared and an out-of-focus plane, should now blow millions of dollars more because bird in the infrared and out-of-focus plane might be evidence of magic.
Sound like a potential threat? You think? So what has the Pentagon done about it? Well, we don't know the full story as of tonight, but we don't know that they've done anything about it other than ignore it.
I know, it's such a failure of American intelligence that they don't believe in magic.
The sad thing is we have a whole new branch of the military that might be perfectly designed to assess what these things are and figure out if they're a threat or not and maybe respond. If there was ever a reason to have Space Force, this might be it.
Actually, Tucker, stuff that doesn't fall within the laws of physics would probably be investigated by Wizard Force, or if you're feeling very generous, Space Wizard Force.
So every day for 2 years, unidentified flying objects behaving in ways that seem to contradict what we know about physics. And the U.S. military is spending its time, as of right now, purging its ranks. What does this remind you of? Maybe the Soviet Army, 1938?
No.
For the purges of the 30s had decimated its leadership. 90% of its generals, 80% of its colonels, and well over half its corps commanders had been put to death at Stalin's whim.
Yeah, I think I remember that in the last news cycle, that 90% of American generals had been executed. You know, on a political whim.
Every single commander of a military district was eliminated. Every single commander of an army division has been eliminated.
Wow, America has gotten so much worse than I remember.
Every single commander of a regiment, with some exceptions here, also eliminated. The army was beheaded, Suits.
And the U.S. military is spending its time, as of right now, purging its ranks. What does this remind you of? Maybe the Soviet Army, 1938?
Yeah, I think this is what would normally be called alternative history.
A clear and present threat appears on the horizon, but the people in charge are so obsessed with political purity and loyalty to the party.
Yeah, you know, the words peak stupidity are thrown around a lot these days. So much so that they've kind of lost their meaning. But I think what we might have here is maybe the most archetypal embodiment of peak stupidity ever.
That they can't respond because they're absorbed in attacking their own organization. When they say that all revolutions are the same, they're right. UFOs, it turns out, are real.
Rubber ducky, you're the one.
And whatever else they are a prima facie challenge to the U.S. military.
You make bath time lots of fun.
They are doing things the U.S. military does not allow, and they're doing it with impunity.
Rubber ducky, I'm awfully fond of you.
And they appear to be focused on the U.S. military.
I know it's dangerous, but let's just logically pass that for a second, shall we? So, you think there are aliens who have this magical technology?
Imagine a technology that can do 600 to 700 G-forces, that can fly at 13,000 miles an hour.
I have walked across the surface of the sun. I've witnessed events so tiny and so fast, they can hardly be said to have occurred at all.
And that can fly through air and water and possibly space. And, oh, by the way, has no obvious signs of propulsion, no wings.
And they appear to be focused on the U.S. military.
The world's smartest man poses no more threat to me than does its smartest termite.
UFOs for decades appear to have clustered around our military installations, our ships, and our aircraft, with no real response except more secrecy.
So according to Tucker, there are these godlike beings, and one of their amazing superpowers is to appear only in front of American military personnel who can't operate a camera. Fine, Tucker. Ninjas do this sort of thing all the time. In fact, there was this amazing Fox News article covering it earlier this year.
Today, crowds turned out for the annual Modesto County Ninja Parade, which once again passed through town entirely undetected.
This is our 4th straight year coming, and we've still never seen a ninja. It's amazing how the ninjas can sneak by undetected on us. The kids love trying to be able to spot them and not being able to.
Only once in 1984 was any evidence of the parade's presence captured on film.
Oh yeah, Tucker. If ninjas can go down Main Street completely unnoticed.
And that can fly through air and water and possibly space.
Then they could sneak in to the Pentagon.
A clear and present threat appears on the horizon. They are doing things the U.S. military does not allow, and they're doing it with impunity.
Or other top military intelligence installations. And naturally, if we consider that these aliens can do all of these remarkable things that completely outclass the military, we should definitely consider the prospect that they're shapeshifters as well.
And whatever else they are a prima facie challenge to the U.S. military.
In fact, why should the US waste its time studying the UFOs with defective cloaking technology that can occasionally be seen? Surely they should be much more worried about the ones that leave no evidence that they were there at all.
Just days ago, the Pentagon confirmed that an 18-second video of 3 UFOs harassing a U.S. warship called the USS Russell is in fact real.
Holy crap! I mean, the lines of reality and parody blend seamlessly at this point. Here you have one of the most popular news anchors in America, with a straight face reporting that an out-of-focus plane with its clearly visible FAA-compliant navigation lights flying past 2 stars is now a fleet of 3 UFOs harassing an American destroyer. Yeah, sure, Tucker. I get harassed by thousands of UFOs on every clear night, even more so when I'm near an airport. I mean, how can there be hundreds of these triangular UFOs harassing airports every single night and no one takes it seriously?
This is the most amazing evidence ever.
The script has flipped, and people are now taking this seriously and eliminating the unnecessary ridicule that has stigmatized the UFO topic.
This is the most compelling evidence for UFO. Oh my God, it's vanished. That must mean it's got some sort of cloaking technology as, oh my God, it's reappeared again. No one can, oh, hang on. Maybe if I focus a little. No, well, the people might see that it just flew behind the building.
Yeah, the US military is going to have to spend an awful lot of money to identify them all.
That footage was shot in July of 2019 and collected by the Pentagon's UFO Task Force, then wound up in the hands of Jeremy Corbell, the journalist who put it online.
I think calling him a journalist is pretty generous. UFO nut is probably closer to the mark. But what's that? On top of these amazing pyramid-shaped UFOs, Corbell has obtained this amazing evidence of transmedium vehicles.
Whoa, it's getting close.
On a pitch-black night off the coast of California, newly leaked video allegedly shows one of the U.S. Navy's stealth ships tracking an unknown object in the sky.
It's a plane. Yeah, seriously, just go take a look at what planes in the infrared look like. It's a plane.
Stealth ships tracking an unknown object in the sky. Then after a few minutes...
Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
The 2019 footage obtained by filmmaker Jeremy Corbell, who last month released another video of an upside-down pyramid UFO hovering above a Navy destroyer.
Now, wow, that is amazing. A truly transmedium vehicle. So let's take a quick look at the high-resolution version of that video.
6 foot swells. Whoa, it's getting close. 31 knots, sustained wind, topside, gust of 40. Whoa, splashed. Mark bearing and range.
Yeah, truly an amazing transmedium vehicle that can be seen every night at about sunset. The phenomena is also called going over the horizon. So a plane flying away from you, going over the horizon, looks like this.
6 foot swells. Whoa, it's getting close. Yeah, we have 31 knots, sustained wind, topside, gust of 40. Whoa, splashed. Mark bearing and range.
And you included there, Jeremy, in your information the exact coordinates. As you said, a submarine was sent after this, no wreckage.
Wow, that's amazing. A plane flying over the horizon doesn't leave wreckage. And you'll be shocked to find out that Jeremy Corbell, the journalist, the one who thought that an out-of-focus plane was evidence of a gravity drive of some sort.
It appears the propulsion system is a field propulsion system, that these craft might possibly be gravitationally propelled.
Thinks that plane going over the horizon is also evidence of an anti-gravity drive or something.
Yeah, this is so important. If what we are witnessing is a true transmedium vehicle, a vehicle that can penetrate that barrier between air and sea or air and space without destruction, then we're looking at a propulsion system that is so far advanced, it's beyond next generation technology. So we're probably looking at, and what it is theorized is we're looking at, is a gravitational propulsion system.
Yeah, Congress really is investigating this. 60 Minutes really is doing documentaries on this. Fox News is agitating that the US military should take this as one of its most serious challenges ever. Something that they should spend millions of dollars on. All based on evidence Like an out-of-focus plane. The monsters are indeed due on Maple Street. So that's the video today. Drop a thumbs up on it for not quite the only voice of reason in the wilderness on this topic, but one of the few. Subscribing for new videos like this is only a click away, and as ever, if you really like the content of this channel, you can support it directly through Patreon, and thanks for watching.
In night vision video from a Navy destroyer, a mysterious flying triangle above the deck of the ship. The Pentagon confirming the images obtained by documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell were taken by Navy personnel.
The Pentagon has confirmed a strange and unexpected sight captured by Navy personnel off the coast of California. The video shows flying pyramid-shaped objects hovering above the USS Russell and another warship.
It was leaked by filmmaker Jeremy Corbell.
Did you see the Pentagon confirmed leaked images of videos of UFOs buzzing over the Navy? Did you see that?
Well, Erica, there's another such video out that the Pentagon has confirmed that military in the state shot, and this is it. It was taken aboard a U.S. warship in July of 2019. It's a night vision shot that appears to show several unidentified triangles that are flashing in the clouds. This is off the coast of San Diego. And one of the triangles appears to join other triangles before the video abruptly ends. Again, the Pentagon has said this is a video shot by our personnel.
Christine, yeah, so this filmmaker, he just released this video that was taken by the U.S. Navy. He says that this is the best UFO video that has ever been released to the public.
And it was covered by so many news organizations with like 2 million hits, 1 million hits, and CNN, 1 million hits. Let's just take... Oh, it was leaked. That means that they don't want you to know about it. They don't want you to know the truth. They're trying to keep secrets from you. And because it was leaked, you know that this is going to be some of the most devastatingly impressive video that they have and they want to keep from you. With the US Pentagon says leaked UFO video is authentic, and UFO caught on camera. Pentagon confirms leaked images and video are real from 7 News Australia. Or Pentagon confirms UFO video is real, taken by Navy pilot. CNN 2 weeks ago. Oh, yeah, 2 weeks ago. And so it goes on. You know what would be really embarrassing is if it turns out that you could recreate these videos.
UFO, oh my God, it's vanished. That must mean it's got some sort of cloaking technology as, oh my God, it's reappeared again.
With a piece of aluminium with some holes poked in it.
Expected to be a part of a report on unidentified aerial phenomenon to be presented to Congress this summer.
Yeah, within seconds of seeing this, I knew exactly what it was. Being an astronomer for some 40 plus years and having spent a lot of time under the stars might have helped a little. It's a plane. It's an out of focus plane flying past some out of focus stars. Or no, let's be fair. It might be aliens. It's just they're so generous in turning their FAA compliant navigation lights on when they're flying around Earth. But people kept sending it to me. And then I checked out some of the videos, which had millions of hits on them.
What you're seeing are vehicles with a propulsion system that is not a reactionary propulsion system. It appears the propulsion system is a field propulsion system, that these craft might possibly be gravitationally propelled.
How did Fox News describe it again?
Christine, yeah, so this filmmaker, he just released this video that was taken by the U.S. Navy. He says that this is the best UFO video that has ever been released to the public.
Wow, the best video footage ever. Finally, it's all over. Gone are the days when video footage was mocked for being out of focus 144p shaky cam video. Now we're going to get real, amazing, high-definition video proof of aliens.
you. So the Defense Department, let's put this up there on the screen, has confirmed a leak video of an unidentified aerial phenomena that they say is real.
No, we're still at the 144p shaky cam video, shot by people who couldn't operate a camera, or in this case, focus one, even if the aliens arrived from the future and landed right in front of them.
UFO! UFO!
But people are paying attention as to what exactly is going on here. And I think this is probably the most significant confirmation of a real video incident since 2017.
Ah, yes, 2017, when the US military was taking seriously the threat of not planes, but birds, and probably some sort of duck.
And that would include this video. It shows two Navy pilots encountering something bizarre off the east coast of the United States. Watch this.
Got it! Roger, there's troubleshooting. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay.
Okay, so he says there that he didn't box a moving target, he's auto-tracking something that's in the field of view. Okay?
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
Okay, these are guys who fly for a living, who know what other airplanes look like, including those maintained by foreign governments, and they're totally shocked by this. This is one among many incidents like it, including many that have happened in the middle of the day to sober people, lots of independent...
Yes, but lots of witnesses, independent people, none of who could actually operate a camera such that the UFO doesn't end up looking like a dirty spot.
Previously, they've said advanced unknown aircraft
do in fact show aerial phenomenon the Navy cannot explain, and that in fact our understanding of physics cannot explain.
I mean, your suspicion should have been first clued in when, yeah, you can just about make out it flapping its wings. You know, boom, 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 boom. You know, all you really had to do was understand what the numbers on the display meant, and you could work it all out, with maybe the most simplest being the range to the object coming up as about 4 miles, which means, seeing as you know the field of view of the camera, you can work out that the object is about 1 meter long, about the size of a decent bird, and it's whizzing along because the plane is at about 20,000 feet, the bird at about 10,000 feet, and the plane is going past it at about the speed of sound.
These aircraft carriers that many of these UFOs have been interacting with, obviously these are billion-dollar assets. And if the official position of the most powerful Navy in the world is, frankly, little more than, we don't know what this is, I don't think that's good enough.
But these must just be weather balloons, right?
Well, the weather balloons that are expressing technologies that are far beyond our current understanding of aerodynamics, things that are maneuvering in ways that no aircraft that we are currently aware of has that capability to.
I think it's terrifying. I mean, this seems potentially like one of the biggest stories of my lifetime, and I don't care if it's about UFOs or whatever you call it. Something that we don't understand is getting very close to our military aircraft, and the government isn't responding adequately, and I hope you keep sounding the alarm on this.
You enjoyed that. You're damned right.
Probably the most significant confirmation of a real video incident since 2017.
Or maybe he's talking about Fravor and the Tic Tac UFO.
So here it is. I cut across, and I get to about half mile of it, so I'm about halfway across the circle. As it gets in front of me, it just goes poof, and it's gone. And it's gone like that fast.
Huh. What a curious time for something to vanish when you get level with it. Odd that.
What do you mean, poof, it's gone? I mean exactly that. Like, it's 1 minute it's there, and the next second, it's like magic trick.
Bizarre thing is, you listen to the eyewitness accounts, and it was all amazing. Blow your socks off.
He went following it down, and as soon as he went like that, this thing popped straight back out of the water, back up to 28,000 feet. What?
It literally gives me chills listening to this.
I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary.
Meanwhile, the best footage the F-18 Super Hornets in the Navy could get was a slightly twitchy camera mount on what looks like a distant plane. The evidence certainly contradicts the eyewitnesses that say they had no obvious signs of propulsion.
When we saw the video with the IR, it has no exhaust, no discernible things of anything form of propulsion.
It's clearly hot. It contradicts the eyewitness reports about it moving quickly.
Hey, this thing just turned on my nose. It's coming up. And there's a bit of fear because now you're out there dealing with something that you have no idea what it is. It's actually reacting to what we're doing.
It clearly wasn't, and it contradicts the eyewitness reports about the pilot circling around.
Strange craft begins mirroring the turn rate of Fast Eagle.
And it was only when they flew towards it that it shot off.
Commander is now about a mile away as he maneuvers his Hornet to get behind the unknown craft.
Meanwhile, the evidence shows the Super Hornet in straight, level flight. It's not doing any turns at all, and there is another object drifting across in front of it. Minus the contrails, it looks like two planes on slightly divergent courses. I mean, it's truly amazing how many unidentified flying object tic-tacs there are out there in aerial video. I mean, in this video, there are two squadrons of tic-tac UFOs tailing passenger airliners. Why isn't this front page news? I mean, why is no one talking about these tic-tac UFOs and what their intentions are? Or like this video, where you can clearly see a tic-tac UFO tailing a F-18 Super Hornet. And then, as the pilot moves to try and get a good view of this UFO, it engages some sort of warp drive or cloaking technology.
The fact that we have military personnel that witnessed multiple objects, and not only were they eyewitnesses personally, but we have it on official DoD video, it doesn't get better than that.
So let me get this straight. As good as it gets is some fantastic story about dogfighting with alien spacecraft in Super Hornets. And the only actual evidence you've got is some grainy video that corroborates none of the fantastic behaviors the pilot said he witnessed. Now, by far the most common defense from the believers is these are trained military professionals, not some nuts.
Okay, these are guys who fly for a living, who know what other airplanes look like, including those maintained by foreign governments, and they're totally shocked by this. This is one among many incidents like it.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but they're still people, and people compartmentalize stuff pretty well. I mean, as an example, I know trained professionals dedicated to discerning true patterns from false ones, and they're still conspiracy nuts. I know scientists who believe that 9/11 was an inside job. I know scientists who think that global warming isn't real. I know scientists who work in a virology department and still bought into all the conspiracy theories about the coronavirus and that hydroxychloroquine was going to solve it all. I mean, how? The guy who was in charge of the Human Genome Project was a creationist. Of course, you're going to get some UFO nuts who are fighter pilots.
I honestly don't know. I don't think that we have developed that technology. I don't think we developed it on this planet. We still, to this day, have no idea what it was, what we saw, what we chased, what we engaged.
Which is why you base this stuff on the quality of the evidence, which is somewhere between laughable and comically bad.
What you're seeing are vehicles with a propulsion system that is not a reactionary propulsion system. It appears the propulsion system is a field propulsion system, that these craft...
Wow, it's amazing what you can deduce from that out-of-focus video of a plane.
So, there was this amazing fleet of flying saucers. Oh, hang on, wait a sec. This is way too high resolution and stable to count as credible UFO footage. There was this amazing fleet of flying saucers out there. And then, all of a sudden, just like that, they all turned into triangles. And the triangles miraculously started rotating all in unison. How is that even possible? And then the triangles suddenly all turned into diamonds, and the diamonds rotated backwards and forwards all together. I mean, there is no human technology that would allow all of these spacecraft to fly and rotate together in unison like that. And then, even more incredible, to show that they're shape-shifting UFOs, they all turned into bells? Yeah, bells. So these are the most amazing shape-shifting UFOs you've ever seen. And then they turned into Christmas trees? Are those Christmas tree-shaped UFOs? I think they are. Wow, that's incredible. Meanwhile, of course, what you're actually looking at is just a triangular aperture, which is rotated to various degrees in front of the lens. The diamond-shaped one, of course, you just have a square-shaped aperture. And for those wondering how I got a bell-shaped UFO, well, there you go. That's how I got a bell-shaped UFO. It was just having one of those in front of the camera, like that. And of course, we have the Christmas tree aliens, just like that. Alternatively, if you don't like your fleet of triangular-shaped UFOs, because it's not illegal, you can actually just focus the camera, you know, down to points. And then, of course, it's not quite so cryptic anymore. Cool. So here you have a typical camera lens, and usually with camera lenses, you have a focus, and you have this thing called an f-stop, which allows you to increase or decrease the amount of light that comes through a lens. And the reason, of course, you want to do this is when you go down to the high f-stops like this, it increases the depth of focus on your lens, and usually there's a little switch on these things that, you know, so you focus it when you're getting lots of light through the lens, and then when you take your picture, you stop it down, and that means that you get nice depth of field when you take your photo, and then it opens back up again. This is old mechanical technology, this one. Cool, so what we're going to do now is we're going to stop it all the way down, and you'll see, because I've got the focus locked off on this now, that there are plates that actually cause the stop down. And in this case, there are 7 of them, which means that if I were to take pictures with this, and out of focus things with this, what you would see is something that looks kind of circular, but actually has 7 points on it. But this isn't the only kind of iris you can get on your camera. You can get them with 3, which means that the out of focus images look like triangles.
And at this point, I've got to give a tip of the hat to Mick West, who did a very good analysis on this. For me, it was instantly obvious it was a plane, and I just didn't even register that people would take it seriously. Anyway, he goes into loads of detail, identifies Jupiter in Scorpius, which instantly gives you the date and the field of view reference that you're going to be looking at here, and goes on to identify the stars that the plane flies by, the probable route of the plane, and even the lens that they probably used. Well worth a watch. He has some mercy for them. I do not.
Wow, look, the flying triangles. They're everywhere.
I know it's hard for people to really, wrap their head around it, but it is real. That's no longer a point of conjecture at this point. We are well beyond that.
This flying triangle even changes color. That's amazing. And look, it's going to meet another flying triangle. This is the most amazing evidence ever.
The script has flipped, and people are now taking this seriously and eliminating the unnecessary ridicule that has stigmatized the UFO topic.
This is the most compelling evidence for UFO. Oh my God, it's vanished. That must mean it's got some sort of cloaking technology as, oh my God, it's reappeared again. No one can, oh, hang on. Maybe if I focus a little. No, well, the people might see that it just flew behind the building.
This is so important in order to, to get rid of that ridicule and the general, way that people look at this.
Oh no, if you show up with some video of a plane, an out of focus plane, and claim this is evidence of, what did he say?
It appears the propulsion system is a field propulsion system, that these craft might possibly be gravitationally propelled.
You deserve all the ridicule that comes your way. I mean, for most people, remarkable claims require remarkable evidence. Not for these people. These are the people who will take the most mundane observation and include the most remarkable things from it. Say, for instance, I lost my keys. Well, I'm certain I know where I left them, and they're not there anymore, so the only other possible explanation is someone has developed teleporter technology and removed my keys.
The three options are, is it our technology? Is it for an adversarial technology or someone else's technology? Or is it something completely different? We're 99% sure it's not foreign adversarial technology. So that only leaves really one other option. It's someone or something else.
Well, that's certainly a counterintelligence conclusion. I wonder where he worked.
My background, I'm a former counterintelligence special agent.
Ooh, former. I wonder what happened there.
Are these three videos the only videos that you know of that the United States government has that shows unidentified aerial phenomenon?
No, absolutely not. These are probably some of the least compelling videos. In some cases, you know, we've seen these things 50 feet away from the cockpit.
Right. So whoever leaked these incredible videos, for some reason, you know, wanting to convince people that UFOs are real, they decided to leak the least convincing stuff. Because that totally makes sense. And of course, for reasons, aliens only do photo shoots with American aircraft. American military aircraft, where the pictures can be classified. You know, they never go near passenger planes or other nations' planes or anything like that.
And it's getting increasingly harder to keep the cat in the bag.
Hell, even Elon Musk can see the problem with this, guys. Yeah, I think I'm just about beginning to work out why you're a former counterintelligence agent.
However, it was my understanding and the conclusions that I came to, and by the way, every other person in the program unanimously came to the realization that these things are indeed real.
Yes, indeed they are. Real birds and planes and no mercy. Yeah, drop your thumbs up for no mercy. Next video is going to be completely different. Hopefully it's going to be the Apollo 13 breakdown video, which goes into details like if their mishap had happened on the way back from the moon, everyone on the mission would have been dead within about 4 hours. And just how long was it after their mishap before the flight coordinator uttered the words, "I want you to figure out the minimum power to sustain life," which to me encapsulates the desperation of the whole thing a lot better than Houston, we have a problem. Anyway, the details are just mind-blowingly fascinating. It's going to be a long video, so it might be overtaken by another one, which is almost as engaging. I've got the first ever video of metallic water. But I have to wait for it to appear in print before I can make the videos. You know, keeping co-authors happy, that sort of thing. So yeah, if you don't want to miss out on great uploads like that, make sure you hit subscribe. And as ever, if you really like the work of this channel, you can support it directly through Patreon. And thanks for watching.